Welcome, Introduction to React Use Effect Hook. In this today video, we will be learning about the React hook and in one of the hook called Use Effect. What are hooks in React? Hooks are special functions in React that let you to use features like state, lifecycle methods inside functional component. And before hooks, these features were only available in class component. Hooks made functional component more powerful and easier to use. So here in the React, by default, we are having two things. One is the functional based component and the second one is the class based component. So before 16.8 version, we will be using the class component more and more. Why? Because at that time we don't have the hooks, and after 16.8 update, we have got the hooks in React. By that, the for the developers, it has one of the big thing that made easier to write the code and the less complexity to understand and the write the code. And we here we'll be having two things. One is the lifecycle method, another one is the state. So that can be managed inside the functional component easily. Why were hooks introduced? Re- React hooks were introduced to avoid writing complex class component, reuse logic between components, make code cleaner and easier to understand, reduce confusion with this keyword. Inside the class component, whenever we are writing using the states or calling the props or anything, at that time we need to use this keyword lot of time again and again. That was like one of the headache for the developers to use again and again. The code complexity was also more, and then like they have introduced the 16.8 version, and in that update we have got the introduction to the hooks. Now we will understand what is use effect. We will be learning one there are more than 10 to 15 types of hooks are there. In that we will be learning use effect. Now what is use effect? The use effect hook is a powerful tool in React that allow you to perform side effects in your functional component. Think of it as a way to tell React like after rendering do this. So that rendering in the sense like reloading the page, like without reloading the page is going to change the content. Like you have seen the YouTube or Zomato, Swiggy, Amazon, Flipkart. These all things are like created on a single page application. So this single page application can be achieved with this using React. And now inside this one, like whatever the changes is happening on the screen, it will not reload our entire application. It will only load that particular component in the sense that particular UI that we are displaying on the screen. Only that will change on the screen. So that's what the hooks are like one of the big thing, and the React you are using more and more. Now, what is use effect? The use effect hook was introduced in 16.8 version, elegantly handled the side effects in functional component and moderate placement for class lifecycle methods, bringing cleaner and more interactive code structure. So here, why we are using the use effect in the sense so that we can handle the side effect and we can perform the lifecycle methods and we can make sure that the component rendering on the proper time. So all these things are achieved by the use effect hook. So this is the basic syntax and execution model. In this one, like rendering and effect runs and then cleanup. So cleanup in the sense like after the rendering, if we are not required that particular component on the screen at that time, we need to clean up the function. And what will happen so that it will be removing the execution of that particular one again and again. So this is the basic syntax. So here first we need to write one use effect and import that use effect at the top of the screen, or you can say top of the code, and then one callback function inside that write the logic. And after that there this return. Inside this return we need to call one callback function again, and this callback function what it will do, it will clean up runs before the next effect. And here we are having three types of use effect, means three types like three kinds of way to write the use effect. One is the without dependency, one with the empty array, and third with the dependencies. So we will be learning one by one all these things, and which one is the best to use, that also we will understand by using the use effect. Now we will move to the VS Code. Okay, now we have moved to the VS Code, and inside this one I have created a file called hello world.jsx. You can create any file name and the like add extension called .jsx. So I'm having one extension called React ES7 feature. you can just go to this extension sites and you can just install that extension. By that, if you write rfce, you will be getting this snippet by default. So what we have got one import, and then we have got one function, and that function we are exporting, and inside this function we are writing the return, and whatever the javascript you are writing right before the return. Okay, so here, so before understanding the use effect, we will just understand the state, okay, with one simple example. Okay, const const count, comma, set count is to use state, and here I will write one function called handle count or handle update something. This is a arrow function, and inside this arrow function I'm writing the set count of count plus 1, and here inside this h2 I will just add this count. And so when to increase this count, in the sense this count should be increased only when the user clicks on this button. So how can we do? Okay, on click on click is a event handler that will perform the actions and call this function inside this one, save this one, and then go to your app.jsx. Inside the app.jsx, we need to import that component name, something like this, and then self closing that tag. And after that, if auto suggestion is provided, just click on that auto suggestions. By default, this path will be selected. If not, we need to select this path properly, means where you have stored the your file, and then we will move to the. Okay, before that, we need to start the server. So how to start the server, in the sense, move to that particular directory. If not, directly you can start this one. So npm run dev. So npm run dev is the command to start the server of the React if you are using the white. So now you can see, now the thing is like the display, it's been printing properly, and here the button is there, and here the count value is there. And whenever I'm clicking here, okay, just look at this reload button. Okay, just look at that reload button. Whenever I'm clicking on this increase button, does it reloaded the page? No, right? It only dynamically changes whatever the happening on the screen. Okay, dynamically whatever the changes are happening on the screen, that will be done automatically only to this particular component. So this particular component means only this much of component will be rendered, and that component will be displayed properly on the screen. So this is the using the state management, we can handle something like this. And you have seen already in Swiggy, Zomato, Zepto, or any one of the Blinkit, in any one of the application, whenever you are increasing the like product quantity at the time, like this, without reloading, it will be increasing the count of your product. So by now we have learnt about the Okay, now we have learnt about the state with one simple example. There are multiple examples we can study, but here in this video we will be learning about the use effect perfectly. So now what I will do, I will just comment out, maybe in if I required, I will keep later. Okay, then use effect. Okay, use effect has been already auto imported at the top of the code. You can see this one, use effect, and inside this use effect, it's required it accept one callback function. Okay, this is the callback function, and here this set count of, okay, count plus 1. What it will do here in this here, it is also increasing, means it is going to increase the count value to n, means infinite. Here rendering will be so much high that we cannot write this one. Okay, okay, store inside one particular parameter t plus 1, Now, okay, I need to close this one. Why? Because I have commented out that button. We don't require this still. Yeah. Now you can see now how much it is rendering by this. If we write the use effect something like this, the our application will be rendering like this continuously, so that the application size will increase and the caches will also increase of our application. So what we need to do the best way, this use effect we are using, that is the without dependency we are using. So if you want to stop that, we need to use something like this. So this is empty array. So empty array, what it is going to do? It is going to render for only one time. See, it was 0 to 1. It has been increased, and now it's the still same. So this is the how we need to use the use effect by using the empty dependency, or you can say empty array. Now, if we like just imagine why we are using the use effect. We are using the use effect to perform the side effects like fetching the data, fetching in the sense like calling the API and calling the API and displaying the data on the screen. That is the one thing. Second one is the yeah, like if you are using any one of the application, banking application or any gaming application, in that you may have seen that how many times you have been okay, we will take one small example of one exam application. In that exam application, at the like any one of the top of the screen, you will be seeing the timer. This much of timer will be there. Before this timer, we need to start, or else before this timer, we need to start. The timer, how we are going to write? The timer can be written by using this JavaScript. Okay, that is known as one timer function. Set interval. Okay, the set interval, what it is going to do at every particular span of time, it is going to call that function again. So this is the set interval, and here what we are going to do, set count plus one, and then pause this one and go back to your application. And if I refresh, now you can see 0 and 1. Why? Because only one time it has run, because here I had told you we are using this empty dependency array. But if we inside this one, if we write count, okay, what will happen? This dependency will be changing according to this one. Like if the count is getting changed, at that time this one is also going to change. Okay, now I will refresh 0, 1, 2, 3. Here now sometimes if it is blinking, you may see on the screen sometimes it is blinking. So how to avoid this one? In the sense here, clear this interval. Okay, means cleanup function we need to add. Let, okay, let timer is equal to this one, and then we need to write return keyword, and inside this what we need to do, clear interval. Okay, clear interval of timer. Now it will work perfectly. So 3, 4, 5, 6, without rendering it is working now. You can see this one. So this is how it works. So this is the one of the example of the use effect with an dependency. Now we will be understanding the life cycle in the inside the use effect. So use effect, what I will do, I will add some console.logs and component mounted in the sense like loaded on the screen. So comp in the sense component. So I will add something like this, and then console.log comp rendered, and then inside a cleanup function we need to add unmounted, and I will save this one, and I will go back to this browser, and I will open the developer tools. Just right click, by that it will be there on the screen. Okay, okay, we will use one instead of this set interval. I will use set timeout. By that you can understand easily. Component mounted, component rendered, unmounted. So this is the thing, like this it will going to happen. Okay, and unmounted. So all this thing is happening properly, and this is the one that by that we can understand the example of the use effect. Yeah, now on the screen you can see that component mounted, component rendered, all these things was happening. And here, if I was writing the count, what it was happening, this what it was doing, it was clearing this interval, okay, and once again it was starting from the start, and again the this loop was continuously starting. And this set time mode, what it will do, only it will run for the one time. But here what it was happening, every time the count was changing, so it was restarting once again. So because of that, it was getting increased the count. And then component mounted, and the last one is here cleanup function is not called. So cleanup function will call when the component will unmount. So if I save this one, now you can see component unmounted. So this is the one of the process of the life cycle. And thanks for your time.